Okay, good day again from the Shaking family on day 371 of our weight loss journey. It's Saturday morning. We're stuck inside because of the time. There's no shade outside, so we want to get through to the Q&A that we promised for today. So I hope everybody enjoyed the videos of the actual cruise itself. It's very, very difficult to edit them down because, you know, it's so busy on the ship. We're doing so much all the time, and then to try and cram that into a couple of minutes in a video is really difficult. But yeah, it is what it is, and I did my best, and I hope it's okay. It's 10 to 5. I was hoping to get some footage of us coming into the port, but unfortunately we ran into a bit of a rainstorm, so I couldn't get out. Until now. It's just stopped for a while, but it's still very overcast, and I think we're getting more rain. So this is the actual cargo area of the docks. So yeah, and I was hoping to get a bit of a sunrise, but with the cloud that we ran into, it was just nothing. Okay, so it's 20 past 5 at the moment. They're just bringing us alongside. We're back in the home port of Brisbane. So the cruise is all done and dusted by the shouting, and the car is over there somewhere, furthest car park. So once we get off, Mark can just wait up at the terminal. I'll go and fetch the car, and then we'll put the baggage in and go home. But we still have our last breakfast to see to, because it's only, as I said, 20 past 5 now, and we have a disembarkation time of 25 to 9, so we've got still a bit of time to kill. Pantry is opening at 5:30 for breakfast, so we'll probably go down there. We need to vacate the cabin by about 7ish to allow them to get in there, clean up, and get it all ready for the next passengers getting on board this afternoon. And they're going on a 3-night cruise, and then they'll come back. It's a comedy cruise, and when they get back, then it'll go out again on another 7-night for New Year cruise. Back in Brisbane, it's not the best of weather. It's a bit windy, and certainly a lot cooler than it has been up north. Yeah, it's been rainy, wet, everything's wet on deck here. As we leave our home for the last week, our little room that we've had for the last week. Home was never like this. So we've packed everything up, we've had our breakfast, and now we're going to walk out that door for the last time on this cruise. So just grab my bag. Margaret's got hers there. Our little dressing room for the last time, and our bathroom for the last time. So the questions that we were asked, one of the questions was, how did you find all the costumes for the cruise? It's pretty easy for a guy, I must admit, because for argument's sake, the Gatsby, I just had a pair of cargo pants on, really. Black ones with a white shirt, a black bow tie, a Gatsby cap, and some black braces, and some white shoes.
I looked on heavenlycostumes.com or Wish, and a friend of mine made the feather.
Also, for Gatsby, they normally have workshops on board where a lot of the ladies will go and they'll make their own head thing with a feather and whatever. So they actually do that on board. Previous cruises, they used to sell, or they would sell a lot of the costumes, like the cheap pearls and feather lace and that sort of thing. But this cruise, I never had anything. And Bianca was the easiest one of all. I just wore short white shorts with a white
white shorts and white
polo
top.
shirt and white socks and shoes, and that was it. Real easy. Bianca's probably the easiest of them all.
Yeah.
And then back to school, I simply used that same white shirt that I used for Gatsby, and I put a stripy tie that I had in my wardrobe that looks like a school tie, and I just left it loose on purpose. I had a pair of darker shorts on, with long socks left down on purpose. Black shoes I think I put on. A cap that I had I put on sideways. purposely left the shirt hanging out of my pants and that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's easy as well.
Mine was a school uniform that I bought online a couple of years ago. The uniform on previous cruises for back to school.
So yeah, costumes are, I mean, you don't actually have to dress up. The best memory of the cruise, or a few, I really don't know, the whole thing was good. The shows that we saw were really good, especially the ones that weren't planned because of the cancellation of shows, and they just did something impromptu. The musicians are really good.
Yeah.
Really enjoy just chilling with a cocktail or a drink and listening to some music. Basically, I enjoyed the whole cruise. Not really one that really stands out too much. I think the whole experience is good.
And taking part in
dressing up and all of that.
Dressing up and taking part in the...
It just adds to the experience, I guess. Yeah.
Ambience of the cruise, if you can dress up.
And also the crew. I mean, the crew are absolutely, they'll go way above and beyond. If you need anything, they'll try their very best to do it. Yeah, and they're always smiling, they're always greeting. Are there anything disappointing about the cruise? I guess because coming out of COVID, they're a little bit lacking in experience. A lot of the crew, I think this is their first contract, most of them. There are a few little things. They're short-staffed, so 2 of the restaurants didn't even open the whole cruise. So they didn't have enough staff, so they remained closed the whole cruise. And yeah, it was telling in as much as every cruise we've been on, we've purchased a little model of that ship. This one, they never even had that on board. They said the
stock never arrived.
The stock that they had never arrived or whatever. And again, as I've said before, costume jewelry and that for the occasions, there was nothing available on board.
Yeah.
But I think as they go on, they'll get back up to where they were before. So COVID put a big dent in everything. They were 2 years idle without any sailing. So underlying costs. Did we have any underlying costs? Well, when we booked this cruise, they included $450 of onboard credit. So which means you can spend that anywhere on board, really. So we used it for the Wi-Fi. We bought some photographs, too many photographs. They really rip you off for photographs. That's
$30 a photograph.
It's crazy what they charge for the photographs, but anyway. The Wi-Fi cost us $105, I think it was.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the fastest. It used to take ages to upload a short. Other than that, not really. So you can go on a cruise and not spend a single cent more than what you've paid, because all of your entertainment is provided if you don't want to go and do anything special. All your food is provided unless you want to go to a specialty restaurant. Alcohol is not included, so if you're going to drink anything, and that is pricey. So as an example, most cocktails are worth $16 each. A couple of CC dries that I had were $11 each. Beers are probably between $6 and $8 for a beer. But luckily we don't drink that much, so we didn't spend that much on booze. Gambling is not included, but we're not big gamblers.
We never even went into them.
Never even played bingo this time. We get a lot of people coming in on the last game for the last day to play, in hoping that they'll win it. But we heard that the second last night it went off at $5,500. But we didn't even bother with a single game of bingo, and we didn't do any gambling whatsoever. So you can go on a cruise without spending a single cent extra if you don't want to. Our total bill was $800, so $500, so $300 extra that we paid. Could you ever go on a longer cruise, and where would you go? Or is a week long enough, I should say? We have been on a longer cruise. We've been on a 2-week cruise around New Zealand. Just prior to COVID, that was our last cruise prior to COVID. My very, very first cruise was, I think it was a 21-day cruise from Italy in Europe down to Cape Town. Yeah, I would live on board if I could. It's really, but yeah, so yeah, I would love to do around Australia. But that's about a month or something. So then
It would also cost a fortune.
and also there was the same question of would you ever go outside of Australia? If so, where? Yeah, I'd go anyway.
Yeah.
I'd love to do Europe. I'd love to do a river cruise at some time because
They're expensive.
they're expensive, but
They're about
everything's
$5,000
included
each.
there, even your drinks and excursions and everything else. It just depends what you're after. But as I said, we have done around New Zealand. Do they slow down at night? No.
No, they don't.
They've got a schedule that they've got to meet, so there's a lot of costs involved in getting into a port and all of that sort of thing, pilots and tugboats and all of that sort of thing. So they have to try and maintain that. Generally, they'll just keep going on. They know how far it is and what speed they need to travel at to get there. Then at the same time as how easy is it to fall asleep on board? Well, it actually rocks you to sleep. So sometimes, but sometimes you don't even feel it. It's just like getting into bed at home. It's not difficult to fall asleep at all. Any future travel plans? Yeah, but I don't know if it'll be cruising because as I've mentioned before, I've ordered this new vehicle. And it's a big SUV which is capable of towing something. I've started looking around to see if maybe we can get a caravan. I'd like to do some camping trips away, just my ultimate would be a lap of Australia again, but that's probably 2 years to do that.
Lots of money too.
Funds, because you won't be earning unless you can get a job that you can do remotely as you travel around. But there are ways around it. I've been watching some YouTube stuff. Even if we can just get away for a couple of weeks at a time, a weekend just down the road, just to break that routine of 9 to 5 work. If I get another offer like they did just after I booked this cruise, where it was a 2-week around New Zealand by Carnival for $500 each in a suite, and they put $500 on board credit, I'd grab it.
You won't say no to that.
That's basically 2 of you traveling for 2 weeks for $500. Did you meet any people you will stay in touch with, or who you knew that was surprised to see you? Well, our first night on board, we were sitting having dinner at Angelo's, and one of the crew members come walking up to us, and he said, "Have you cruised with P&O before?" We said, "Yeah, we have. I remember you." He was
I'm from Princess.
He came and introduced himself and said, "I remember you guys here, and welcome aboard, and all that sort of stuff." So yeah, that was a surprise that he actually remembered us. On this cruise, we never really met anyone that we stayed in contact with, but the last cruise we did. Yeah, a couple from America who were on the same, it was also a Princess around New Zealand. And yeah, we became real good friends with them. They had a little game that we used to sit and play.
Pigs and Jokers.
Yeah, Pigs and Jokers, and I actually made one afterwards. And we forgot to take it with. We should have. It would have been a lot of fun. And then what happened with the dogs while we were away? Well, Lindsay didn't go with. She stayed here. So she was taking care of the house and the dogs. So that was all covered. We didn't have to worry there. Any food you tried were not as good as you remembered? No, I can't say I disliked anything or overly enjoyed something.
I tried crocodile for the first time.
Yeah, and on the last carnival we did, we tried frog's legs for the first time. So it's actually an ideal place to try things for the first time because it's all included anyway. So if you don't like it, you send it back and you get something else. But no, the food was the food. It was.
The food was always good. So.
In terms of way forward, have you assessed the last year and decided to do anything differently? No, I haven't decided to do anything differently. I think I'm going to stay on the same plan because it worked well for me last year. I dropped 33 kilos. I picked up 9 again, so overall, over the year, I dropped 24 kilograms, which is average of 2 kilograms a month, which I'm very, very happy with. So if I can do that again this year, then I'll be down to goal weight, and then I'll have to assess what I'm going to do differently. So apologies for all the long videos that we had, but as I said, to try and get all of that, I cut so much out and I left so much out because there is always something going on board. And you can do as much or as little as you can go and lay around the pool all day if you want, or you can get involved in trivia, or as I showed on one of them, there's dance classes some people were doing. Yeah, there is always something every day. You get a newsletter type thing which tells you exactly what's happening the following day. And this one again, because of this, is going to be a long one, and I apologise for that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, weighing tomorrow, so we'll see what happens there. It is what it is. I'm not going to concern myself too much with it. Okay, so with that, if you can just keep those comments and questions and suggestions and what you thought of the series, I would really be interested to find out. So if you can also give us a thumbs up downstairs, apparently it helps with the YouTube algorithms. And then if you have only just found us or haven't subscribed, just hit subscribe and the little bell and you'll be notified every time we drop a video. And with that, it's just thanks for watching the Shaking Family and see you tomorrow.
Bye.